Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to Cloud Test Lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Okay, no issues. We are discussing now. Array index exception. So I'm writing array index exception with respect to integers. So you guys just convert that to string values and try to access the next element out of the boundary. So I'm declaring three integer elements. Integer array integers equal to, so I'm directly assigning the data 1, 2, 3. So normally to print the elements we'll use for each, because by using for each we can avoid a lot of effort like taking an index variable kind of stuff. So let us go and run the program to print the elements. Yeah, we are able to print the elements. Now let us try to access an element out of the boundary, array integer of 4 equal to 20. Once after that, I am placing one terminated statement as well. Main block completed. So until this point, the execution has completed properly, but with this statement, we have an exception. What is the exception here? How to read the print stack trace. It will specify the exception object, and the next one is the exception message, and once after that, it will specify the stack trace, which is nothing but your method calls. So currently the exception was right within main method. So exception dot array index exception dot main and the file name, and once after that it will specify the line number. You should understand what is the exception, what is the exception type, and the second thing is what is the exception message and stack trace, where exactly the exception has occurred. These are very much important when you have entered into production or testing kind of stuff. So currently we know that we are trying to access an element which is out of bound, which means the index, it will start at 0, 1, 2. So there are only 3 elements and the index starts at 0 to 2 and ends at 2. Now you are trying to access an element which is not within the boundary of array integer. So that means you will be going to get an exception, and you need to handle this exception. Try Once after that, you need to write cache block. So now we are able to handle the exception, but we are not handling the subclass level. We are just taking at the superclass level. If you want, you can just take this one and directly handle the same exception. And with respect to java.lang.package, array index out of bound exception is from the package java.lang, and java.lang package is by default available to our program. So no need to specify any import statements. Once you are handling the exception, you can see that. One second. Once you are able to catch the exception properly, you can see that the program flow has started once after the cache block. So the advantage with respect to try cache block is, instead of terminating the whole program, you can just catch the exception and the flow will continue as it is. If at all, if you didn't have the exception handler, this is the cache block is nothing but your exception handler. If you don't have that, the exception will be caught by your JVM, which means your program will be going to terminated, and the rest of the code, whatever that was available, it won't get executed. That is one of the advantage with respect to exception handler. So you guys just convert this to string array and try to access the element with respect to string array, and then see what kind of exception it will be going to rise. Sorry. Come back to our old program, which is arithmetic operation divide by zero error. Here within the cache block, we are trying to print the stack trace as well. Let us go and execute one time. Here, if you take a look at that exception message divide by zero, this will be provided by your exception class itself. Your exception class is nothing but, here it is arithmetic exception. So arithmetic exception consists of a message called whenever it has received arithmetic exception, and whenever it sees that it is divide by zero related stuff, it will be going to throw the exception message by which you will be able to understand the issue and you can resolve the exception clearly. And here with respect to array index out of bound also, let me write the print stack trace. So here, what is the exception message? Here it is specifying that 4. So what it was trying to tell is, you are trying to access an element which is 4 as an index from the array integers, and that element was not available. So, but it was not providing any clear explanation. You just need to understand that you are trying to access an element index out of bound. Index was not within the bounds, and the element index is 4. So normally this kind of messages are provided by a method called toString. From each exception object or from each exception class, they have overridden a method called toString. Why I am saying that as overridden? Because toString method is available from your object class.
Krish, can you just repeat this part, Krish?
Yeah.
What does toString do?
Yeah, we'll do. I'll explain one more time.
Okay, Krish.
So here, with respect to java.lang.object, we have plenty of methods. One such is toString method. All our child classes or all our user classes will extend by default one class, which is object class. That means whatever the methods that are available with respect to object class, they are by default available to your class. So with respect to throwable is in the top of hierarchy for your exception classes. So from throwable only you'll be going to get exception or error. So throwable class, it has overridden toString method, java.lang.throwable method. Here you can see that it has overridden the toString method. Overriding means it has to follow same method signature. So here you can see that throwable extends object and it is overriding toString method. The purpose of toString method is to provide exception message. This is, let me execute one more time, arithmetic operation. So here you can see that divide by 0. If it has provided directly java.lang.arithmetic exception, and if it has provided this stack trace, you won't be able to understand what kind of exception that you have received. If you have some extra information, so currently you can see that this is in plain English format, in the sense this is not in the Java representation or not in the object format. Divide by 0. That you got some problem within your code, and this is the line number by checking the stack trace, and once after that by looking at the message divide by 0, you will be able to understand the exception properly. So your toString method, which was overridden from object class, will be going to provide that particular information. So in current case also, it has overridden toString method and it has provided the divide by 0 message. Is that clear, Soumya?
Yes, Krish. Krish, you told that this toString method is overridden by all the classes. That is from object class. It is throwable class overrides the toString from object. So does it end at throwable or does it go ahead? Meaning, is it present even in exception?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If at all, I got your question. If at all, if it was available at the throwable level, means it was available at all the child class levels. Is that correct? Because of our inheritance concept.
Yeah, it's available at all the child class levels, but I'm asking, is it overridden at all the levels?
No, it was not overridden at all the levels. You can just verify. You can just verify the API.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not available at exception also. But it was available at throwable level in the sense, so that means it was available at all the child classes levels by using our inheritance concept.
Okay, Krish, thanks.
Krish?
Yeah.
In this Vijay, in arithmetic exception is if there is something else other than the divide by 0, maybe try to store more value than it is allowable in the data type. How do we know what kind of error we are going to get?
You just need to verify first by catching the exception object and print the exception type, and then you'll be able to understand what kind of exception you'll be going to get.
So we can't write like exception divide by 0, give this message. If it is value too large for the column, give this. We can't do like that.
Yeah, then I'll show you once after that. It will take 2 more minutes.
Okay, sure. Bye.
multiple catch clauses. The try catch block, it can be nested. In the sense, let us say here you are handling array index out of bound exception, and once after that, let us say you are trying to access the element 2. This is valid, but still you are making sure that whether you will be going to get array index out of bound or not. Once after that, you want to perform some kind of division operation, int d equal to f equal to 30. So here you are performing 2 operations at a time. The first one is you are verifying, you are assigning the data for array integers. So currently this is fine, you won't get any exception. And the next thing is within the same block, you are trying to perform some other operation, which is d/f, calculating the division value. Normally this program will work fine because you don't have any issues with respect to the data. And let us say you have some issues with respect to data. Let us go and execute it now. As you can see, you are receiving divide by 0 error. But what you are trying to do, you have placed the try catch block, but the catch of exception is related to array index out of bound, but it is not related to division by 0. So currently, just give me a second, please. Yeah, I'm sorry. Currently, you are trying to handle array index out of bound exception, and the code is rising division by 0. You have 2 options. The first one is you can place nested try catch block. That means you can place, you already know that this code will be going to rise division by divided by 0 exception, which is arithmetic exception. Sorry. So currently we are following nested try catch approach. You can see that within one try block, you are writing again one more try block, and you are associating the catch block. Each and every try block, it has to follow with the catch block. If you didn't specify, the compiler will be going to give an error for you. So you can see that once the exception has raised, here the exception has raised, then Java will be going to verify the catch handler for the object, which is arithmetic exception in this case. It will be going to verify the matching catch handler with respect to nearby try block first. So that means it will verify with respect to this try block. If it was not able to find, then it will be going to verify in the enclosed catch block. So that means you can have the arithmetic exception at this level, or else you can have, let us say, this one we are handling some other exception, null pointer exception. So when the exception has raised, Java will verify with respect to immediate try block, which is this one. If it was not able to find the handler, Remember, whenever an exception has raised, it will be going to throw back, it will be going to send back to the caller method. In the same way, while it is sending the response back to the caller method, it will also verify is there any enclosed try block available. Currently, you can see that there is one more try block available. When you go and execute this program, forget about the messages because we didn't write it properly. Once an exception has raised here, it will verify the immediate cache block. So currently you are not handling division by 0 with respect to immediate cache block. So the exception will be wounded and it will be going to throw back the next level try block, which is this one. So this try block consists of a handler for arithmetic exception. So you can see that exception has caught properly and it has printed the stack trace, and you can see that the execution has started properly once after handling the exception. So this is one of the handling. Currently, this is we are following nested try cache block, and this is one of the two methods for multiple cache clauses. The second thing is you can use multiple cache clauses with respect to your try block itself. Let me write some other example.
Krish, I have a doubt here, Krish.
Yeah, go ahead.
If now in this, initially before you changed the code, there was an array out of bound exception, and then you added the arithmetic exception in between. Okay. So now initially only this arithmetic exception handling happened inside the first try block of array out of bound. Okay. Right? So if the array out of bound exception only happens, will it go ahead and execute the arithmetic exception? Meaning if you do array integer of 3 here, and then you have a divide by 0 also, will it go and execute the try block?
Remember, whenever an exception has raised with respect to any statement, the first thing it will do is it will generate an exception object and it will find an enclosed handler. Once an exception has raised with respect to any statement within your try block, it will immediately transfer the control to the cache block. It won't execute any statement once after that. When the exception has raised at this level, let us go and execute. When an exception has raised at this level, it won't execute the next line. Immediately, it will transfer the control to matching cache block. Currently, you don't have cache block, the matching cache block, which is array index out of bound exception, which means the exception has thrown back to your main method.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take a look at here the same scenario. Currently, I want to access, let us take one more example to handle multiple cache clauses. So let us say we are performing two operations. The first one is first operation. We want to retrieve the data by using command line arguments. So command line arguments means it will send the data in terms of array. So let us verify, and if the data was not available, then it will be going to throw index out of bound exception, because I'm trying to access some elements in that array, but user hasn't sent any data. And the second thing is, once after receiving the data, convert that to integers convert that to integers, and then perform the division operation. So if the user has sent 20 and then 0, so the first exception, it won't throw anyway because we have sent the data. And once after converting that to integers, we are performing division operation, and it will be going to throw arithmetic exception at this case. Let us write the same code. For our convenience, I'm just printing how many number of arguments are available by using args.length. Once after that, let us assume that we have received two parameters. So to access two parameters, I need to use 0 and 1 index. Integer number 1 equal to, so no need to bother about this particular step, how I am converting into integers. We'll discuss about that step later. You just need to understand that I'm converting the string values to integers. Once after that, I want to perform the division operation num1 / num2. Main operation completed. Sorry. When I execute this program without sending any parameters, it will throw an exception at this level itself, because I don't have any data in the array and I'm trying to access an element, and it will throw array index out of bound exception. The second case is might throw an exception if I send the data as 0 for num2 value. So there are two possibilities. Let us go and execute directly. So the first exception, java.lang.arrayIndex out of bound exception, and it has specified that the index is 0, and it has occurred at this level. To pass the arguments using Eclipse, right click, run as. Normally we are executing the file by using Java application. See, currently we are just following, we are just clicking on play button, and it will be going to execute the program. You have other option, just right click on the file, run as Java application. This will also execute the program. Run as has several options. Click on run configurations. Run configurations, choose your file. By default, it will select the same file, multiple cache blocks. And here you can see that there is a tab called arguments. Normally to send the parameters, what we'll do, Java, multiple cache blocks, and we'll send the parameters as so go to arguments. The first one is program arguments. Program arguments is nothing but whatever that you want to pass with respect to command line. Command line arguments, whatever the program arguments that you have given here, those are given as command line arguments on your Java file, and Eclipse will treat them as command line parameters, and it will use them to execute the Java program. So currently I'm passing 20, space 0. To separate arguments, you just need to give a space. Program arguments. Remember, you need to give only at this level, not at this level. We'll talk about this one later. Click on run. You can see that now the two parameters, whatever that you have passed, those are available to your multiple cache block program, And once it has started executing the main method, you can see that the program argument length, it was specified as 2. So that means these two work properly. If you want, you can just print those numbers as well. This out number 1 value, num2 value. So once you have executed with respect to run configurations, the data was already available with respect to the program. You can just directly go and execute the file. If you want to change, again, you need to follow the same approach. So currently you can see that num value is 20, num2 value is 0, and when you are trying to perform the division operation, you have received one more exception. And just now only we have seen how to handle the exceptions with respect to try catch block. So what you can do is you can put the whole code. So currently this statement and this statement both might throw an exception. So I'm trying to put them in try block, and then I'm writing the superclass exception handler. This is out exception occurred plus E. As you can see, I'm handling only one exception here. I have only one exception handler, which is at the top level, which is superclass level. Superclass refers to subclass object, which we have discussed in last classes, and I have specified about catching the exception also with respect to superclass. So it can handle both arithmetic exception and index out of bound exception. You can also place runtime exception. It will also handle both arithmetic and index out of bound. Now go and execute the file with parameters first. You can see that exception occurred, and the exception message is arithmetic exception and divide by 0. By looking at this particular message, by printing,
so many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website H2KInfosys.com. On our website H2KInfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.